Good morning, good morning. Good morning and welcome to today's live show. If you're not watching this live, make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes where we give a full breakdown of every stock we cover on this channel. Today we're going to be doing a bunch of technical analysis, looking at a bunch of charts. Looks like we have some upward moves happening. We have the yields popping off. We have the dollar breaking down just a little bit more. So we want to pay attention to what happens early on in the day. Going through these stocks really early here today. We just want to pay attention if we're getting outside of one of these daily expected moves. We do have some important data coming out throughout this week, so we'll have to pay attention to where price is. Before then, the Qs, you're seeing a little bit of a pop higher. Curls up on the MACD. Remember, 2-hour curling up into positive territory. It's what we do a lot of the time before that big positivity comes in. So even around this one here, buy in somewhere around this area, boom, see that explode higher. So we can see that again. We told you how that would kind of form, most likely looking like this going forward. So we'll have to see if that positivity continues. We were talking about IWM giving you that 30-minute divergence down here, starting to see that pop. So that's one thing to pay attention to. Apple actually showing more weakness here, falling off just a little bit more. So that's something to pay attention to. We'll keep an eye on Apple. Tesla getting a solid bounce here. Well, this is where we kind of need to bounce from. We have to get, remain back above 166.40. So if that starts to fade, or maybe we get some kind of touch like this, we could look for a shorter time frame, maybe a 30-minute divergence or something like that. Good morning, Amin. And Amazon going forward, look at that, push higher. Remember, this is one that we were like, it can just go ballistic because it's crossed on this MACD. It can go into that overbought territory. So we can see an upside move. If you're part of the Patreon, be paying attention to those weekly expected moves for Amazon. NVIDIA, this one here, starting to pop up again. Okay, so the 2-hour for this one, if that's able to cross and go positive, we can see a positive move. We just want to pay attention to our weekly expected move for NVIDIA. But AMD, you're seeing a little bit more of a pullback. Okay, so AMD was one that we were overall stating how it could roll down, give us some kind of divergence around that 164, 162 level. That would be interesting, but maybe we just get some kind of double bottom or something like that. But thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Good morning, John, DB Trades, John Juran, Debusta, Carl, Naveed, Amin. Welcome this morning. Let's go take a peek over at volatility. Volatility starting to drop off, 30-minute getting close to the center line, not able to curl up as of yet. 2-hour crossing down. So now you'd have to say, well, you'd have to assume positivity is coming till that 2-hour can turn back around for the VIX. So pay attention out there. We still want to be trading like water. 10-year yield is just popping off to the upside, right? So it's popping off to the upside, TLT dropping a little bit more, but the 10-year really going up here. Well, remember, this line here is probably the really important one. Once we get above that, all bets are off. This thing can just keep going. Dollar, I wanted to show, it's actually dropping off. If you go look at I think it's a 30-minute, it looks like it. No, it's a 2-hour. Okay, so a 2-hour looks like it's going to curl over. What if that creates some kind of divergence? That's what I would say. Morning, Scott, Ajax, more Panda. What's up? Good morning. I think the question is, what are we going to see for the rest of the week after CPI? Do we keep getting bullish after CPI and a black swan happens, or is CPI going to be the thing that really tears us apart? Because if this 10-year yield keeps going, that would be kind of nuts at this point, but it kind of has to happen, or else we could go into hyperinflation, stagflation, anything like that. So it makes sense for the 10-year to head higher here, because we overall, they're talking about no cuts, right? So it's going to remain higher and higher for longer. But I think TLT might be telling us something this week. I believe it's outside of its monthly again today. Yeah, it's outside of its monthly. Outside of its weekly would be 89.40. So we want to see where that's opening up. It's got a little bit more downside here. I'm going to look for a 30-minute divergence, maybe look at getting into this. Is right in the middle at this point. No serious strength, but Amazon getting a solid move today. Phantom says, get money. Marina, good morning. Is that the market makers or the traders crying in the background? That's alright, she's doing tummy times. They don't like it. All right, we're opening up. So now you got to see, is that moment going to come? Are we going to cross on this 2 hour and see some positivity here? Do something like this, maybe come back down in it by end of day, and then do something like that. That's what I'd really pay attention to here. We're going to look at 15-minute charts as we go forward. I just wanted to show how this thing's about to scoop up into positive territory on the Qs. That's something pretty big. The SPY, though, just wanted to mention this. This one's already more into positive territory, even with this slight curl up. So we just have to see, is this going to kind of complete and go cross above this high, get another positive move as it goes positive in positive territory? That would be telling. But if we see this drop off before CPI, that might be a time to be contrarian on it. Another day, another new all-time high in gold. Gold actually moving higher and higher here. So this is why I was like, yeah, betting against this probably wouldn't be smart because it's too hard to find the top here. You could find entries and things like that. Remember, 2 hour divergence, flatness up here, flatness down here. But overall, you'd have to say, hey, that's more likely to be a pullback at this point. This is a very strong move. It could literally just come down into this area and then bounce again. It could come down into here, bounce again. So looking for consolidation to take any kind of trade here. Oil, another thing, just ripping to the upside, about to cross positive territory on the 2 hours. So that is all very, very like, it looks like things are going to go higher. Mara, remember this one, starting to scoop up positive territory on the 2 hour. Let's see if that can cross over. 30-minute here was some divergence, so we were paying attention to Mara just a little bit, but this divergence up here gave us that downfall. So some little trades to be had. SMCI starting to see some kind of bounce. It really needs to from this area to remain higher, right? We don't want to break through any kind of structure. Google making a slight move higher, Microsoft making a slight move higher. But you really want to be pulling out those 2 hour charts. I think we really want to be pulling out the 2 hour charts, making sure we're crossing up into positive territory. You notice Google hasn't been doing that just yet. One that has, Amazon. Amazon is just going. But remember, the momentum in this is pretty dead as of right now. So you have to be a little bit cautious with it. Oop, sorry, hit the mic. Alrighty. So with Amazon crossing up into positive territory, you got to be worried about the momentum dying out here, but you want to wait for this to confirm or anything like that. Remember, I have some positions still here. I'm pretty confident with it, so I'm going to keep it for now. Let's go to Qs. I think the 2 hour on the Q is going to be pretty telling throughout the day. Just trying to see if this guy will cross. So we can go into shorter time frames, see if that's just crossing up, going positive. But if we start to go negative here, that's not the best sign. All right, what plays do we got out there today? IMD with regular strength at the open. Yeah, I think IWM looks pretty good, actually, like that 30-minute divergence. Dave's already out here yawning. Apple looks weak. Yeah, Apple doesn't look very good. Look at that, falling off. Look for maybe some kind of divergence down here, but it's just falling off, right? You're breaking through structure again. So you had this sideways action here, and it's just breaking down again. So you want to pay attention to the bigger signals, like what's happening on the daily. Well, what's happening on the daily? Well, we came up, we tried to test the 20 and stuff like that, right? We tried to test it, we fall back off. Now, most likely, what are we going to do? Well, we're riding the 5-day down. You see how we're just riding that 5-day. So that's good. Usually when you see a drop off, you reconnect, get some kind of pullback. Now we just ride that 5-day moving average down. So this one's about to cross over into negative territory. That would mean Apple on the daily scale could head a lot lower. So this is where you just want to be cautious, maybe not playing around with Apple too much here. Now Tesla not confirming that crossing down of the MACD down here, about to cross up, positive territory. We talked about the 30-minute divergence. You can see a strong move here, to be honest. You really can. You can see a strong move. Will that just get rejected somewhere up in here? That's where we'll pay attention to any divergence the other way. Papa Torres, good morning. Getting ready to short it again. Yeah, just be paying attention. Make sure we're getting those reasons to take the trade before we do it, right? So Tesla does have some upside left here, right? Somewhere around 176, somewhere up in this area. So if you get excited and get outside of this, say before CPI early on in the week, you can see some divergence form. Maybe see that crossover, get that confirmations, and have a play to the downside and see this 2-hour start to roll back down. So the 2-hour could roll up and go positive here. You have divergence down here as well. So just make sure you know the upside potential here is pretty high. You have a 2-hour divergence, you have that daily divergence down at this level, and you have a 30-minute divergence as of now. So Tesla could get rotated into, or it's just going to keep this negative trend. We just want to be a little careful with it because Tesla looks like it has a bunch of setups to go higher. So make sure that divergence up in this area is outside of the range early on in the week, has a divergence. I think you really need to have 5 reasons to take a trade against Tesla because it could experience some upside. Amazon starting to drop off just a little bit. NVIDIA not confirming the move higher as of right now, right? That 2-hour is not able to curl up. NVIDIA breaking some hearts this morning. Micron, one thing about this is you're going to have 30-minute divergences up here. You can just tell from how it looks. Look at that 30-minute divergence, able to go negative at this one. So you can like treat this as if you're a position guy like me, you can start to scale into stuff, right? We get this one here. Maybe I say, oh, well, this thing's pretty positive. Maybe I want to wait till I'm closer to negative. Okay, right here, I take it. Now I take one position, another one here. Now I take 2 positions, and then I sit and I see if the 2-hour crossover, it did. Now we're testing that level again. If I wanted to, I could enter in another position. But as we curl up, I want to make sure that's curling back down. Because if this just goes higher, I don't want to get my position again up at this level. And then after I take multiple positions like that, then I'll say, okay, let me put a stop in this thing so I don't lose anything if it just keeps going. Then we can enter in later. There's another way to get into these, right? You just get in at every single divergence you see. Okay, get in. Boom, curls up, I'm out, now I'm back in, I'm out, now I'm back in, and then your stop maybe up here at this level. But remember, they're going to want to take out your stops probably before some kind of big drop. That's what I think is happening over on Amazon, honestly. I think they're just taking out a bunch of stops at this level. Qs, that's why I think they have potential to actually move higher, is because they probably want to take out all the stops up here. But as we do start to curl down, you have to say crossing down on the 2-hour as of right now, see if that downside is there for you, see if we can find any divergences to the downside. That would be very, very helpful for us. So we're paying attention to the 30-minute at this point. 30-minute looks like roll over, go like this. What if we just create some kind of double bottom? One thing I want to pay attention to throughout the day, look at the daily charts, right? Pay attention to multiple charts because we're starting to roll back down below the 20 here. Remember, we broke through the 50, so we're kind of still in between the 50 and the 20 here. SPY, well, we got a little bit of room before we break through these moving averages, right? So these exponential moving averages, these simple moving averages, right? We want to break down below this again. That would be something different that hasn't happened in a while, right? Getting just another bar, but I think you want to confirm below this one. Bro, yeah, sometimes, yeah, allergies are going nuts. Kansas is very windy, so our allergies are insane. My eyes are all messed up and stuff right now. But I can still see the charts, so we're still out here trading. Dow looking positive as of right now. IWM getting some positivity. There was a little trade to be had here, right? The 30-minute giving you a divergence. Now you see the upside. See if that thing can go positive, right? Then you want to see 2 hours curling up. I can be more confident. Well, 2 hour is curling up, but do we see that positivity come in? We'll have to be patient on that one. But if this does cross, you could probably hold IWM. It's probably going to make a new high here. Oh, Meta making a move down. By 1%, Meta making a move down. This one here, remember, double top potential here. 15-minute for an entry point. Well, look at that. Now, if we curl back up, you can get another one. But if you break through this low, you're kind of confirming the double top, and you could head lower. So at that point, I would pay attention to the bottom side of my weekly expected move over on Patreon. And Meta does have some room to the downside here. Plenty of room. Plenty of room there. Microsoft moving down. Netflix moving down. A lot of stuff moving down here. Apple's starting to wick out. Remember, this is kind of where you don't want to break through, and now it's buying right back up. So AMD, solid sell-off there. This is when I'm looking for a little 30-minute divergence or something like that. I think a little 30-minute divergence here for AMD would be nice. Go down to a weekly expected move, right? And then see that thing bounce. That'd be nice. I don't know if it'll get there, though. I don't know if it has enough steam to get down to that. SPY with a big range this week, too. NVIDIA's simple. It's just a beatdown. You want to see if it curls up on a 2 hour. That's literally it. If you're looking for an entry point, maybe you find like a little divergence in the near price action, right? But really, you just want to see, is this curling up and going positive? So if it curls up, you can take a chance. And then if that positivity comes in, I would play the weekly expected move or something like that. It's really, really simple in a positive market, but you just want to see if NVIDIA today is like losing the 20 again, because we're still pretty tight up here, so a big move is coming. Some kind of big move is coming. We beat down for a little bit on the daily side of things, right? So look at this guy getting close to center line. What do? Well, on the other time frames, we get close to the center line, we curl up positive territory. So we get close to the center line. What if we curl up and go positive here? We see a big move, right? We can still say there's going to be manipulation, there's going to be stupidity in the market, but we can still make money off that. We just look what they're going to do, and we just play their game. Curls up, positive territory, most likely you're testing this high or going to make a new one. Remember, NVIDIA to 1,000 could be what they want to see. Howdy, Chi-Town. So just be open to it, but if we start to lose this type of stuff, you could be flagging here. You could be getting some kind of bounce on the 2 hour and then crossing back down. Something like that could be happening. That would be a bullish take. The bearish thing would be NVIDIA starts to head down below the 20 again. We haven't lost it for 2 days. Like, we haven't lost it yet, really. Like, you haven't really even lost it yet. You just lost it last week. So there's potential for downside, but the trend, I mean, overall is still up, right? The trend is still up. So you want to pay attention to any possible upside in this area. Pay attention to data this week and all that good stuff. So really, you want to see if this curls over. That would be a bullish thing, but you're not seeing that positivity come in. So maybe you create some kind of 30-minute divergence first. That's how I would look at it. Mandatory for every. Google's still holding pretty strong here. See this one curling up. You want to see 2 hour. Can that curl up on the MACD down here? That's what I would really look for. Or if it just starts to break through this level, you can start to add up some things. Say, oh, the hourly is curling up, positive territory. Maybe that's a better one to watch to get an entry point. See if it breaks through this level. Okay, play some upside. Maybe we play the upside range for Google. which is new to Patreon, right? So if you're part of Patreon, you can get the upside range for Google as well now. Right up in this area, we expect some weakness, some kind of momentum dying out around 160. AMD looking real weak here. What's volatility doing? Now, volatility on the 30-minute, remember what we said in last night's video. If this thing can pull up, maybe we see that pullback before CPI, and then we get some kind of divergence here. I think that'll be very telling before CPI. Salutations, Gabo. Coin, you can look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I had some good stuff going on Bitcoin, actually. So you're seeing that break to the upside. This is actually a good thing, right? So we might see that positivity continue because we broke through some structure. So if I wanted to create a expected move here, I could pull it up to this. All right, boom. I know that this most likely has a good shot of, I would say, getting to 80,000. 80,000 probably, and a little bit above that, right, is going to be where some resistance comes in. So now you want to look at, oh, the daily, is that crossing up into positive territory? That's all you really have to do for Bitcoin. See if that thing's going to cross up. Well, it just broke through structure, so the upside looks pretty good here. Positive trend. Got a little bit of a breakdown in this towards the center line. Now we curl up positive territory. We could be seeing another big move that takes us to 80, 85,000. So the reason I'm saying that is because coin usually does a similar thing, right? It's going to most likely curl up positive territory. Look at a 4-hour even if you want. Guess what? That's about to cross positive territory. Look at a shorter one, maybe a 2-hour. Oh, I have some divergence down here on the MACD. Maybe I want to look at an hourly to see if that's really there. All right, hourly divergence crossed just now. This one looks like it's going to head up over the next few days. Thank you guys for liking. Thank you guys for being here today, liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. You guys are awesome. What do you guys think is going to happen the rest of the week? Do we think, actually, let's do this. Do you think CPI will be good or bad news for the stock market? What do you guys think is going to happen with that? You think it'll be good news? I think if we see some breaking down a little bit more than we can, but Amazon making this move is kind of like, oof, this thing is dead, man. This thing is, its momentum is so dried up. Setting for the MACD down here, 12, 26, 9 smoothing. Right now I use a 5-day moving average, but I'm going to, which is the red line. But in a volatile market, I like to get some better confirmation, so I use a 9-day. AMD is breaking my heart. Hey, that's all right. Just look for this to cross over, create a divergence. I think CPI will be bad for us, but maybe the market shrug it off after an initial sell-off. Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful with it because, yeah, whatever reaction to CPI could be ripped away by the FOMC minutes. Could be the last pitch you were mentioning. Yeah. The last upward move for the SPY looks like it is most likely here if we do turn up, right? If we curl up positive territory, that's what it looks like, right? If you continued this trend, well, every single time we get near the center line, we cross up, we get a big move. Okay, so you cross up, you get a big move, boom, boom, boom. Then you go all the way down to here, you get a big move, boom, boom, boom. Do we see that happen again? Curl up here, get a big move, boom, boom, boom. And then we see that start to fail somewhere up in this area. If those yields remain higher, we might be getting a black swan soon. So just be a little careful out there. Right now, you're seeing some flagging across right now for the SPY. Even on the 2-hour, you can notice it's a little flaggy here. So you want to see if this actually curls up. And there are stuff that is hanging out a little bit lower, right? AMD 2-hour divergence hanging out a little bit lower. NVIDIA hanging out a little bit lower. Meta hanging out, well, Meta's hanging out a little bit higher, right? And Amazon and Meta hanging out a bit higher. Tesla seeing some positivity. Apple hanging out a little bit lower, probably creating some kind of 30-minute divergence. At this point, it's kind of mixed bag. You might want to like I'm trading the individuals. Looks like Amazon could see some kind of push down, while other stocks look like they could see pushes up. You just want to be tactical, follow those trades, follow the trends, follow the signals, and that's what I'm doing. So I still think Amazon has a good shot to roll over from here. But will that funnel into things like Apple or something? That's what I'm wondering. TLT, want to keep my eye on this. Little divergence here on the 2-hour being formed. 30-minute going to show us that pretty clear. So if TLT was going to make an upward move, well, it would probably be right. It would probably be by the end of the day, you might see this actually cross up. You have divergence down here. So momentum, at least, is telling you that the yields are going to come back down. But be careful, whenever this volatility curls back up, 30-minute positive territory, that's going to be the direction that is most likely decided. So really pay attention to the VIX. So this is still uptrends, right? So it can still head higher. This is where you want to see maybe like Nvidia or something like that popping higher, curling up positive territory on the 2-hour here. This looks very flaggy though. You have to say it's kind of just doing this number. So I'd be careful here because you could see another move like this. It might just mean you want to look at a different stock, a different something, because this is curling up positive territory on the daily. That would be a good sign. But as you're right, you're hitting the top of the Bollinger. Maybe you want to see what happens with CPI first, and then you can say, okay, I am going to take the swing trade on this. Yeah, so CPI every single time ops has literally it like breaks down and then the next day it's built back up. But now you have those Fed speakers who are saying over and over again, you know, more bearish things, more hawkish things. So need patience to get paid. Good, yeah, Luke. That's pretty much the best way to put it. And then but yeah, so CPI, if you remember last time, we saw selling almost like this, right? We saw some big selling, and then that just bought back up the next day because they said inflation's coming back in, but that's a good thing. That's not true. It's a bad thing. You don't want to see that progress given up at all. I believe in this because you have a chance for something really bad to happen. Your TLT, your bonds, your 10-year yields, they're telling you, hey, yeah, this is not going to be the best. But if that can fall off before CPI, then you have a chance for that to actually come in hot again. So maybe after today, probably before we actually get that news on the 10th, right? Before Wednesday, we probably want to look at how people are positioned, look at our max pain and things like that. Energy stocks have been doing like really, really well, so it's hard to short things that are doing well, as you notice with even Amazon or something like that. It's really hard. But what you can do is look for 2-hour divergences up here, I would say. So if you see this 2-hour getting flat up here, okay, let's look for a 30-minute if we can enter anywhere. It's telling you like right now the momentum could be dying, but as this on the RSI came higher, I think you could see one more push in this, but it is telling you the momentum has slowed down here. And we could see that roll down, but you're not near negative territory really yet. So if this just wants to pop up, maybe you get a more definitive divergence. You do something like this, and then you see a better one, because this one here isn't the best, right? We're not really seeing it. It's just flat across the way here. Which leads me to believe, hey, this has the potential to more likely be a pullback. That's what I would say for things like Exxon and energy stocks. They look good, like good moves, but you might need some kind of beatdown first to take upside. It's hard to short against them when they're just kind of continuing to go up and up and up. Palo Alto, right? 30-minute. We were talking about creating some divergences in this zone, right? So right now you have 30-minute divergences across the way, but look at that. It popped up. It can reverse down. This is a good buy zone, so you want to look for multiple signals. 2-hour, right? Going positive, something like that would be very good for Palo Alto. But this thing is just breaking down. It's kind of like, you're trying to take the opposite trade and volatility is not extremely high yet. Once volatility is higher, you can do these trades pretty often, looking for little bounces and things like that. But till volatility is higher, kind of hard to take that play. Tesla, this looks good. 30-minute curling up. Now we have to see, does it go up to that weekly range? Do we create some kind of divergence? That's what I'd be looking for on Tesla. Is QQQ starting to come back up? Really, it's just about that 2-hour crossing up. If you see the 2-hour still negative at this point, you need that positive, then that real positivity can come. But you're seeing things like Amazon looks like it wants to top out. Meta still playing with those all-time highs up here and things like that. So things are really high up. Good morning, I like anime. How you doing? AMD is starting to buy up from this area. NVIDIA not able to break down further, right? We don't want to lose the structure at this point. Meta looks like it's struggling, or if it consolidates up here, good. If it takes out this low, that's bad. Pretty for good. We got a huge, up huge on Dogecoin. Yeah, Doge looking like some good moves here on Dogecoin. Actually, I was looking at this yesterday. I'm noticing divergences and things like that, so we could see some kind of pullback. But really, just see the 2-hour curl down is most likely what's going to happen for Dogecoin soon. But a solid move here, right? Solid move. You can play a 4-hour crosses on the MACD. You got a little divergence actually here on the 4-hour as well. Good entry point here. See that thing go up, take your 30% and run. But it's a good move. You just want to see because you're still close even on the 4-hour, which I like 4 hours for crypto and stuff like that. But this 4-hour can curl down. You're still within range of going negative, right? If this just curls down for, say, a day or two, you would be crossing down, getting close to the center line again. So negative trend could be coming for Dogecoin, and maybe you test this low or take it out and make a new one. But this is a solid move. And in a positive move, you can just play those crossings. Bought at 0.17. Yeah, so that's a solid move at this point. Now you're getting towards those overbought territory. Could see that curl down. It could keep heading up. You're just going to notice there's probably some divergences being formed up here on hourlies and things like that, right? So you see the divergence up here. That would just tell you, hey, at least some kind of pullback is most likely coming. So what if Dogecoin just does this and then curls back up? Well, that would be curling up into positive territory. But as that 4-hour looks like it's pretty up there, just see if that thing's going negative. And the Qs here, not even able to turn up on the hourly. You do have that divergence, flatness of the MACD down here. So you do have potential for the Qs to head higher. That's looking very likely, but then you see things like Dogecoin, like all these other, like Amazon, these ones look like they want to break down. So it's kind of a mixed bag out there. Low stochastic, okay, on crypto, seems to time out. If there's anything going to move, best entry for a swing to the top side. Thanks for the insight. Yeah, you can use a lot of those. The 4-hour charts are great for cryptos. It really is. Once you start doing hourlies and things like that, yeah, you maybe look for that to just be like, hey, I want to take profit. I see hourly divergence, but most of the time, it's kind of like I treat the 2-hour like the 30-minute, the 4-hour like the 2-hour, and then the weekly as the daily. But we pay attention to the daily as well. You just want to make sure that it's a little bit higher time framed on there. The other thing is, what if we just like completely go sideways until we actually get CPI or something like that? That's what I would be paying attention to, because you don't really get news for the next couple of days. So we might even cut today's live just a little bit short, just to, make sure that I can take some time for myself. So I'm fine to go live a bunch more, right, for FOMC minutes and things like that. And the other thing is, like, we get CPI, and then we get FOMC minutes, and then we get PPI. So you're going to have some major price fluctuation over the next few days. Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday, and then retail sales on Monday. So for like once Wednesday hits, we get so much data that you just have to be trading like water. CPI sends us up, then FOMC minutes takes us down, and then PPI takes us up. Like, so we can see a lot of fluctuation. Short Tesla. And you could. I mean, maybe you're looking for some kind of day play or something like that, but you just did have a 30-minute divergence cross to the positive side. So we want to see if that can go positive, see if this 2-hour can start to cross up. It is. So I personally wouldn't bet against this just yet. I would be looking for at least some kind of 30-minute divergence up in this area to look for some kind of play. As of right now, you're seeing just a 2-hour curl up. If anything, this looks like it could go positive, right? Has divergence down here. So a little bit cautious with that position, but if you're doing your day stuff and you know what you're doing, I think you got it. IWM not confirming the move higher. Really nothing confirming as far as the indices goes for a move higher. Hasn't confirmed yet, but maybe it's just sitting building liquidity for a little while before it wants to head higher. I know a 2-hour chart's not the most fun to watch. We can look for a little micro side, right? Look at this. Maybe this is the cup into a point of liquidity, right? That would make sense. Some good resistance up in this area. So maybe we want to come to there, consolidate before, see if that breaks through this high one time. That would be pretty telling. Good morning. Similar thing on the SPY as well. So you can see this is very flaggy, right? You can see that. So if we just roll down, well, you'd probably target the bottom side of the daily expected move. That might shift it down. Maybe we see that break down before CPI, and then CPI comes out as good news, or CPI is bad news, and then FOMC is good. We just have to be trading like water. We have to be willing to flip the script a bunch of times this week. We have a ton of data. Amazon, little 5-minute divergence there. NVIDIA, not able to go positive just yet. AMD trying to go positive even on the 5-minute. Meta, this thing's sitting right in the middle. So Meta could telling you, hey, even on the 5-minute, I could go either way. Microsoft in the middle again. So yeah, it could go either way. Now Google popping off to the upside. So at this point, you would want to look for some kind of divergences forming here. If we start to break through this level, that'd be good. See if the 2-hour can curl up, right? Then you see that big positivity come in. So Google could get some positivity here. We're not going to be surprised by that. Curls up on the MACD down here. Maybe the hourly gives us a little better point here. Okay, boom. I want to do this, but I want to pay attention because I'm creating divergences, right? I'm creating big divergences across the way here. So what if it just goes like this? We get close to the center line and that's all ripped away. That's what I would pay attention to with Google, with your Amazons and things like that. Anything making big upward moves, you just want to see if it's close to the center line. Look at this, the hourly for Amazon, it's not close to the center line. So what you would say is, well, this divergence up here is pretty big. Let's see if that can get us down into negative. If I see that curl back up, I'm out of this position, right? I see it do this and go like that again. Nope, I'm out. I look for that another point, and then I go take the other trade there. Palantir, we haven't looked at this morning. Palantir, you're curling up towards the center line on the hourly, which means, it's kind of like the opposite direction. Here's your break, here's your bounce. Now you can curl down negative territory. So maybe we see some negativity come in, but look for a divergence. We could get a divergence before CPI for Palantir. We'll just pay attention. We're going to follow the technicals. We're going to trade based on the probabilities, and then we're going to react to data. That's the important part. All right, guys, I'm going to take a short break. I'll give me about 2 to 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. Right sec. And we're back. What happened? Did something happen while I was gone? Apple's some good divergences down here. See, like, it's like Apple and Tesla, two things that have been beat down, are looking like they're going to bounce, right? AMD looking like it could curl down and get some kind of bounce soon. NVIDIA, same thing, right? Curl down, not able to break through structure. Maybe it starts to bounce up soon. Still waiting for these 2 hours to cross up. If that would happen before CPI, I'd have to say maybe I am leaning towards a hotter CPI. Nothing. And that's what I think. I think we could experience some kind of dud today. Something just a little bit boring. But I would just say that, and the reason that we're probably not going to go live as much today is because we might be live again for FOMC and stuff. So we might be live a lot throughout this week. Once we hit Wednesday to Friday, might be live a ton because we have more data drops and things to react to. Downward trend for SMCI. You just want to see if this is curling over, right? Negative territory. Now you're breaking through structure for SMCI, curling down on a 2 hour, going negative. So you can experience bounces once you get to these areas, right? We said this 903.11, very important. We're touching that right now. Look at where the 50 is lining up too. So you could react off that, see another upward move before earnings. That's why I'm like, what if CPI is good? Well, now we have all these stocks like SMCI. We have AMD. We have Apple. We have Tesla. We have NVIDIA. All these are being beat down, torn down towards their center line on the daily scale. But that means we have the potential for buyers to step in if that's good news. So that's why we really just want to be making sure I'm live for those data drops, because I think CPI is going to be really important. Oh gosh. What's Reddit doing today? Maybe we'll check on the good old Trump media. 15-minute curling down. Yeah, this is a bunch of nonsense. That's nothing. Not too much technical stuff to do there. This one here, we were talking about way up here. If you start to break through this level of 62, Doesn't look good. Look at that. You break down. Now you're going negative. So now you can see a reaction from this level, but you want to look for any kind of structure you can find. 30-minute divergence, but not on the MACD and RSI at the same time. So any bounce here could just fade. Dear Lord. That's too bad. This is too bad for Trump media. Microsoft breaking to the upside just a little bit. I think Amazon's going to be pretty telling here as well. Well, now you have like almost 30-minute triple divergence, right? So almost a triple divergence here on the 30-minute, which means that 2-hour might roll over soon. Well, that 2-hour is kind of going up right now, so early signal that it's dying out. Legit, nothing changes. Farm payrolls was hot. Unemployment is hot, and which both reports should have driven the market lower because it clearly indicates no rate cuts. Exactly, and that's kind of what I was going for with this weekend's video, is pointing out that the data we got was bad. I just don't think people understand it. They think good economy. Oh, good, great. No, it's still a good things for the economy means inflation is still here, and I think that's what's missing out of the info. And a lot of people is like, we want to get rid of inflation, so we need weak jobs and unemployment. We got lower unemployment, strong jobs. And that's why this like stupidity is what is probably keeping the market higher. And I think the market makers are manipulating it again, just to be like, keep that stupidity going as long as they can. And then one day we're just going to see this thing ripped away. And you saw that from that sell-off, was it Thursday, right? You saw it on Thursday. In 1 2-hour bar, we went down like this 2.1 or 2.31% in 2 hours. Like, that is not something to mess around with. The SPY going down 1.81% in just a matter of 2 hours. Like, that is the type of selling that can come in once people wake up. And it very well could keep doing it through the election, but we now know, hey, I have to be watching the macro side of things for the whole next year. The next 12 months, you have to watch macro. There's a video for unemployment. The layoffs in the past few months don't add up to the data that they are presenting. Exactly. And you notice the data, something that he keeps subtly saying when he gets asked, is immigrants are making up for the in the jobs report. They count immigrants, and that includes illegal immigrants getting jobs. They include that in the report. And right now, what are we doing? Well, we're trying to give illegal immigrants jobs more than we're giving veterans and Americans jobs, which is something that, you know, I'm not happy about. But that's going to pad the numbers on the jobs report. If you said anything, you're like, this whole administration, the Fed, everyone, they are doing sketchy things. Really, I think they are doing things with immigration to keep these numbers higher. And then they just, if they don't have illegal immigrant jobs, then they just add government jobs, right? They just say, oh, we added jobs. Well, 75,000 of them or 90% of them are government jobs, which just means more tax dollars, which just means pretty much more government jobs is more people not actually producing anything for the country. It's them taking your tax dollars and then just using that money. So the more jobs we give on the government side of things, the worse things get. And those are new votes. That's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to get the votes. I mean, I was reading an article about, I don't know if it's 100% true or anything, but I was hearing now they don't like the visuals that the administration's getting by the border. So what they're doing is flying people into certain states or something without telling the American people on the tax dollar or on the people's dollar. So the taxes. But I don't know if that's 100% true. Maybe someone can try to clarify that a little bit better, but I saw multiple things on it. Okay, SFM, Sprouts Farmers Market, tons of inside selling, but tons short interest too. Thoughts, please? I haven't looked at that before, but I'm guessing, well, you're kind of in an area where you could see this break up, break down. Probably a good little trade right here on a 30-minute. Not necessarily. And thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Tapakaji. I'm trying. But you can notice here 2 hour curling up. If that goes positive, you can break through these highs finally, right? So you've built up liquidity in here for quite some time. You have head and shoulders, right? We see this, we go left, we see the head, we see the right shoulder. If you break through this level, good shot, you're going to head higher. Oh, no doom and gloom. We trade the price action. The doom and gloom is more just like keep it in the back of your mind. We still trade the price action, right? So Qs, curl up, positive territory on the 2 hour, you're going to head higher. But you just want to be aware that this is not a recipe for a strong market for a long time. So that just means we want to trade like water. That's all it is, capture this. We're not saying don't take calls, don't take trades to the upside when they show their face. We're just saying, take profit a little bit earlier, be prepared. There could be some kind of bigger drop. And we're just aware of that. If the bigger drop never comes, we're still going to be in the trades going the right direction. We're not just saying there has to be a big drop, big sell-off today. No, we want to pay attention to the times where there could be big sell-offs. So 2 hour divergences. What do we have? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Big little drop here. Big drop here. And then that recovers. So what do? Crosses up, positive territory. We see that probably head up. So yeah, that's overall with the SPY what I'm looking at. 2 hour curls up, positive territory. It does never come. And that's something you should pay attention to. It's never come. So that means we could experience a bigger one. When you go through periods where you have huge bullishness with this environment on credit and things like that, if something breaks, you can see a massive drop. Hence, look at this sell-off, 1.81 in 2 hours. That is a big sell-off for 2 hours, right? So there was no buying within this move, and then that could continue. This is the type of selling that will come once this actually falls down. But like you're saying, capture this, is bullish, right? We're not saying it's bearish by any means. I'm saying that the momentum dying out and going up like this is not healthy. So be prepared because this is a recipe for disaster. But in the videos, we say this all the time. We play their game. If they want to keep it going up, we play their game. You know what I mean? 2 hour curls up. I'm going to be saying there's going to be upside. But it doesn't mean I'm ignoring the macro side of things. I'm not ignoring the fact that this behavior on the MACD is not normal, right? I'm not ignoring that, but I'm also waiting for us to break down fully below this so we can start some kind of correction and maybe the craziness continues later on. Yeah. So never getting too bullish, never getting too bearish, but being very open to some kind of bigger correction, bigger pullback, bigger maybe even crash at this point. I'm kind of leaning towards a crash at this point because, or you guys know, crash in the form of a bear market. But does that happen right now? I don't know. But if that curls up into positive territory, we're probably going to see this go up to here. And then we could see at this point, do we have those signals again? It's more of we pay attention to the points where we need to be cautious because that macro side thing could happen. But until we see those signals actually confirm, it's not going to happen. Now, I would say this, they were definitely taken aback by this, but notice the selling that can come in when the market actually reacts how it's supposed to, right? This is we literally got really bad news pretty much at the end of last week. And that's not a good thing, and you're having the Fed speakers actually come out and be hawkish, so FOMC going to be pretty important. NVIDIA, we'll have to see. Remember, this one still 2 hour curls up, positive territory. This is where NVIDIA could get that big move up. See, capture this. We're talking about upside most of the time today. Because 2 hour looks like it could curl up, positive territory. What has happened every single time we've curled up into positive territory when we're near the center line? Even coming below it down to this level where we're at right now, we see that positivity come in. We curl up right here, see that positivity come in. Meta, I think that this thing has some momentum really dying out. You can see on the 30-minute, it's just getting tired. But if it curls up, we could see another move. I would just watch out for divergences that get you close to negative territory, right? We want to be closer to it. If you see it, form one up here, well, it could be down, roll back up, and give you another one. Do I think it could go down tomorrow? I mean, the thing is, when people ask questions like that, the stock market's going to do what the stock market's going to do. All right, I don't have a magic crystal ball or anything like that. We just look at the probabilities, right? So, is it probable for Meta to go up from here? No, I mean, honestly, it looks like it needs to pull back more in order to go higher. Now, if that's not some kind of rapid selling or something like that, we beat down, we come towards the center line, we cross up. Okay, maybe we do something like this, double bottom in this area. We just cross the top here. You're going to most likely see a positive move. But am I hitting my weekly expected move? Am I getting divergence? Is that confirming? Those are what you would pay attention to at that point. That is Wednesday, the 10th. Birds of Light can crash it so fast it's not going to be funny. Yeah, and that's a problem. It's like this. It's gone up so fast that here's why they can't. It can't stay at this level down here. So at this level down here, you're breaking below the 20 significantly. You're in negative gamma territory, which just tells you, oh, okay, this can really escalate. This can actually escalate more here where it was at this point outside of our weeklies, negative gamma. The algorithms would kick in. So what do they have to do? They have to keep it higher. So that just means they most likely do want to make a move higher, in my opinion. Are you taking it? I mean, yeah, I still have it, actually. I still have it at this level. I acquired more puts at this level up here, right in this area. But that could easily go the wrong way for me. I could just see that curl up, stopped out, get some kind of curl over later, and be in the position later. I'm just going to be moving back and forth. Amazon's another one I've been looking at. Look at this guy. It's creating kind of a triple divergence on the 30-minute, but that's the hard part. Oh, the algorithms have to, like, if we start to break down at all, those algorithms are going to pile on. But we might see those bumps in the road. I still think we have a chance at the bear market to the downside, not necessarily like some kind of 30% flash crash or something like that. But if you follow the signals, all you have to do is follow the signals up, follow the signals down, and then one of those times, it's going to be a more significant drop. That's what I would say. So if you play every 2-hour divergence, you might see pullbacks with a lot of them, but the one that's going to break down, you're going to be in it because you're trading like water. You're like, here's the signal that momentum's dead. News was bad. Boom, it starts to crash down. You're like, oh, cool. It's just one of those trades will be bigger for you than the other. Bitcoin just broke out of some structure, so it looks like some upside's coming, right? We talked about this. Now it might pull back in the recent time, but I like the 4-hour. That thing's going positive, right? It's coming up and testing this high up here, so that's something to pay attention to. But the structure here looked like it wanted to break to the upside. I thought it would maybe consolidate before CPI and then see that reaction. That didn't happen. Daily crosses up positive territory. We're going to see a positive move. Where could that head to? Something like 80,000 to 85,000. That's kind of a little range here that I think it could really get to pretty quick. Now be watching out. So this is why you want to pay attention and kind of form your idea for the future, okay? So if this moves up and then starts to fail, you'd have a divergence up here, right? Daily divergence, okay? Closer to possibly negative territory if you roll over. So this is where you'd say, hey, I'm bullish on this. This is a point where I have to pay attention for some kind of pullback. And maybe this is going to be a more significant drop, maybe even a crash. So you want to pay attention at this point. We see that pull back and cross up again, right? Pull back, cross up again. Okay, there's going to be another positive move. That's not the moment. Simply waiting for a bear market. I got on the high on Thursday and went the other way and then got out, was happy with the results. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Honestly, it's just take your profit when you can. Me personally, even I probably should have took profit, right? I just wanted to see if that selling would continue because Amazon didn't even lose its 20 in that move. So I was overall like, okay, let's see if that selling continues because that could be really bad. So that's a moment where you can make good money. Now it comes back up. I'm breaking even. I add to the position a little bit. Now I'm under by like 5-10%. And I'm just seeing if that can confirm down. Bitcoin might hit 80K end of week and then sell off and then run for a bit after the halving. I could be wrong, not financial advice. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it could. And I'm just saying that we want to pay attention because what if there is and I don't know exactly when the halving happens, but what if there's divergence here? Well, you just want to see, because that means the momentum's slowing. So you might see some kind of pullback, then we see that head up again, right? So this would be a point to pay attention for some kind of big drop. If we just kind of slowly move down and then curl back up, well, then you're still positive trend. That's not the moment. You ever pajama trade? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done some of that in the past. Sometimes I have to do that even now. AMD moving a little sideways here, letting that 5 catch up. Let's see that. We come to bottom Bollinger. Now we're letting that 5 catch up. We can ride that down a little bit here. More of a robe trader. That's true. I guess I'm more of a robe trader. Google, this one popping up, positive territory on the 2-hour, right? So if this curls up, you can see a positive move. Maybe we want to touch in this trend line here, right? Maybe we want to touch somewhere like that, and then we see that give us another 2-hour divergence. This is what I'm talking about. If oh, I'm sorry, what was your name? If capture this was here, it's like, do I think this is going to fail eventually? Yes, and I think we are going to experience a significant drop, but this curls up, positive territory. It's probably going to head up to here, create a divergence. This is a time where I pay attention. If a big drop happens, cool. If it just kind of drops and then goes like this and curls back up, we're still positive. We are not trying to get overly bearish before anything bearish actually happens. We're just paying attention to a point. So if this creates that, I have another point to pay attention. So yeah, call side, I would be looking at my AMDs and my NVIDIAs. Really, I'd be probably looking at AMD, honestly. Look at this 2-hour divergence you got here. Not necessarily on the RSI, so you'd have to treat it like a pullback, but what if you pulled back and you hit something like 160, 186? That'd be pretty good. I think NVIDIA, if this thing can curl up and go positive, that'll be a good move. I just want to pay attention to weekly expected moves over on Patreon at that point. Be like, okay, how high could NVIDIA go? Not too high. I mean, not the highest. Not the highest. It can go to like, what, 930 or something like that. So if you were taking a play up, well, you just want to make sure to be taking profit once you're hitting those weekly ranges, because you have other stocks that are showing you potential for this macro to take over. Wait for extremes in the market. We can play off that. I like to see dramatic highs or lows and then go in. Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. And then all you have to do is sit there and be like, is the big drop happening, or am I about to curl up in positive territory? Okay, I'm going to get out. I'm getting out of my puts. I'm curling up positive territory. Maybe I take the play the other way and I swing trade it to the upside. That's just how you do it. And you just want to pay attention to those times where something bad can happen. My video on Saturday was mainly just like, hey, this is not healthy. This is going to end very badly. But if they want to keep the game going, we'll play it. And if we play it correctly, we should be in some kind of big drop when it does happen. That's my Tesla 161 low. Skyrocket $7 after touching it. Yeah, Tesla here. One thing about Tesla is this thing looks like it could go really like from a momentum perspective. It looks like Tesla's about to shift to the upside with some big divergences. You even had a little 30-minute one down here to get in this trade. What I would look for Tesla, right, that 30-minute divergence just confirming with that last bar. So maybe we see some upside, so I can target my weekly range, the upside, look for this, look for some kind of divergence. Guess what? That would get me very, very close to negative territory if that rolled over. Now, if that doesn't roll over, then those dailies are going to look stronger and things like that. So you just want to be cautious with that. But usually if you're coming up here, the probability is 30-minute divergence. You're outside of the range. If we get outside of there early on in the week, 68% chance to see some kind of pullback. So maybe we even just want to get a pullback that gives you a little bit of a trade, or maybe we see that actually drop with some bad news. Oh yeah, Intel we haven't looked at today. We can look at that as well. Intel, a little 30-minute divergence. This thing's really been busting out. And thank you guys for smashing the like button. I see people, ooh, yeah, okay, I remember Intel. Now, the thing with Intel, remember, I think we talked about this last week, left head, right shoulder crosses. And this is the sneaky part, right? Is, you know, when this actual head and shoulders is confirming down here, crossing through this low, I would say, where are we gapping to? We're gapping below that area. That's why we don't. What this was Intel with earnings or something like that. I don't know, but this is how you notice this level is very, very important. So you would say if I'm wanting Intel to go up, I need to retake this area. Does it look like we're doing that right now? No, this thing's pointing straight down. Straight down. So be a little careful, but I just want you to notice how the market can be sneaky, right? This is a very important zone for buyers to step in. What do? We gap below it and head lower. So it could head lower. I think there's chances for bounces anyway along this. So I would just say the daily is dropping below the 200. That's not the best news. Now, one thing to note about Intel for right now, it's well outside of its Bollinger. What do we like to do when we get outside of the Bollinger? Well, we move sideways. We pretty much allow that 5-day to catch up in some way. We go retest it. We move sideways so it can catch up like this, and then we ride it down. So I think you have a good shot to see some kind of reaction to the 5. Enjoy your Saturday video. Thank you for your content. Hey, I appreciate that. Every once in a while, I just like to be like, hey, let me tell you the real feeling I have about this market. Let me tell you what I really think is happening. Well, that's what I think is happening. I think it's manipulated. We can trade it. We can take the upside. We can play their game. And then we just want to pay attention 2 times to be very, very cautious. So like with Amazon right now, it's like this is very positive, curled up, positive territory. We see another upward move, but it's already overbought. We're seeing volatility that could turn up at any moment, right? This thing dropping off pretty well right now, 2-hour curling down. So I think that positivity is coming according to the volatility on the 2-hour. That positivity is coming. So what I would just say here is something we were talking about over the weekend a little bit. If that just curls down, curls back up, look for that to remain positive territory. Just like a regular stock we're watching to the upside, volatility can just turn up. This on Meta. Here, let's just do our breakdown because I'm going to pop off a little early today. Just because we're going to be going live a lot this week, guys. Once Wednesday, Thursday, Friday comes, you're going to want me to stay on longer. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break today. But thank you guys for smashing the like button. We're going to go through all of these charts. 2-hour, look at that. We're starting to see strength on the SPY, most likely seeing an upward move here. Now you have to pay attention because what if this goes like this? And then we actually get some bad news that rolls over. Now, at this point, you'd have to say this looks very likely. Left head, right shoulder in a positive environment. That looks really, really good. But we want to see, do we do this and then we curl back down on Wednesday with CPI or something like that? I think you want to make sure you're creating that right shoulder, not trying to test this low. That's what I would say about the SPY. Qs, similar thing, right? You can get that left head, maybe a right shoulder over in this area. But I'd really pay attention if this low starts to get taken out. Yeah, I think we're going negative trend. I think it's probably going to be the rug pull at that point. But what we want to look for in the future, if we get a strong move, maybe we don't even make that structure. If we get a strong move into like Thursday or something, what if that creates that divergence here? Well, that would be a point to pay attention at that point for some kind of pullback or something bad happening. Let's see if IWM's crossing up. See, IWM had that 30-minute divergence. This is where we were talking about positivity. If that just curls up, you'd get more of a confirmation, see an upside move. Apple, this thing's still continuing to break down, but Apple has room to the upside now, right? It's been beat down for quite some time. So you could get some kind of reaction up. So the divergence is down there on the 2-hour. The only thing you want to watch out for is what if this daily rolls over into negative territory? We make another downward move. Remember, Apple has not been strong for a while. We're below the 200, which tells you that that negative momentum can really take over. Right now, you're about to see that cross. What if we just make another downward move? And then we see a pop before earnings or something like that. That could be happening here. Just be careful. You're below the 200. Doesn't mean we can't get a reaction to this zone again or something like that. But you're below the 200. So if this crosses down, that's really not a good thing. Tesla. Similar thing, right? We're still way below the 200. Price is nice and tight. Looks like we have divergence down here. We're rejecting that cross. You'd have to say, hey, these Bollinger Bands might get spread out. We might see a big positive move. But on the 2-hour or the 30-minute, more likely, the 30-minute, what if we create some kind of divergence this week that leads us back into a negative trend? Tesla's been beat down for a while, so you have to pay attention to the downside. This looks good to reverse. Right, reverse that trend, but what if it gets too excited? That's what the weekly expected moves are for, telling you where it needs to pull back or where some kind of drop can happen. So if we do see that positivity come in, we could see a pullback before that wants to head higher. And how that would look, well, look at this. What if all this over here, well, I would say this bundle in here will probably react to something like this, beat down, grab some liquidity in this area to head higher for Tesla. I hope the bulls come in today so I can go the other way. Amazon, this one here, I just want you to pay attention. 30-minute triple divergence forming as of right now. This is one that's telling you my momentum is drying up very fast on the 30-minute, on the 2-hour, on the weekly, or on the daily. All those kind of drying up for Amazon, and maybe this is like the last point here. Now, it still has upside, right? We're paying attention to those weekly expected moves. Amazon, you can still go like 5 points higher, and it would make sense. So I'm not saying it has to happen. I'm just paying attention to this. If this crosses down, that would not be a good sign. NVIDIA starting to build up here. Remember, 30-minute divergences along here. The 1 hour probably has a good little divergence there for you, but really you just need this 2 hour to cross up, right? Every time we've come towards the center line, we cross up, positivity. Cross up, positivity, right? So way back here, if you just see this big beat down here, crosses up, boom, consolidate, positivity. So as long as we keep curling up and going positive, we can see upside moves for NVIDIA and AMD. This one started to break down further, but this one has a 2 hour divergence. Okay, so that's 2 hour divergences a lot of the time. As long as we're not making any crazy moves by early on in the week, well, we can start to curl up this daily. What would that do? Well, that would put AMD in a positive trend. So if AMD starts to go in a positive trend on the daily, you can come test this level up here. You can even go make a new high. So that's something to pay attention to. See if we get some kind of reaction. Now, at this point, you are a little deeper down. So if we see that curl up for a little bit, what if that just drops down around earnings and we get a lower high? So lower high, a little bit more likely for AMD than NVIDIA at this point. But you're just noticing I have some divergence here. So I could get a big move from AMD. Meta. This one is one on the daily. Looks like it's crossing up positive territory. We're going to see maybe some positivity here, but I'm telling you, the momentum in this move looks a lot like Amazon. It is dying out fast. We're noticing some little divergences up here on the RSI, not necessarily on the MACD at the same time for the 30-minute, which I would have liked, but this could be double topping at this area. You want to see if we break through this low or break through this high. If we break through this high, curl up, positive territory, maybe we need to make that divergence somewhere else. Right? Maybe we want to go towards the top side weekly expected move or something like that. But as of right now, you'd say, hey, if I cross this high, probably positive. If I cross this low, double top, probably going a little bit further down, maybe down towards this area, 485. Microsoft, we're going to take a look at this one. This one on the 2 hour doesn't look the prettiest, but you're noticing 2 hour positive territory. What happens? Well, we're probably going to see an upward move. So I'm going to be paying attention to my weekly expected move. If this makes this move, you're in a wedge. This is a very good place to take a position. I will say that 2 hour divergence pretty solid up here. Google, this one here, about to curl up positive territory, similar to Microsoft. We want to see that cross, get an upward move. You would have a 2 hour divergence in the near one. You'd have triple, quadruple 2 hour divergence, a daily divergence up here as well. So if we see some kind of move up, that's going to be a little worrisome for Google going forward, unless we just keep blowing off top to the upside at that point. So that's just what I want to pay attention to now. Volatility is going to come back in. Well, the 2 hour just crossed, so most likely it looks positive for now. See if that 2 hour can curl back up, right? Positive territory. That would make a lot of sense. Right now, I can pay attention. 30-minute breaking down, going negative, starting to break through this low. So I don't know if this is going to turn back around here. What we can definitely notice is the 2 hour curling down. I think volatility comes back in once that 2 hour is able to curl back up. So really just be paying attention to 2 hour chart. I think 2 hour charts are the chart for the day, for the week. I mean, you know, just looking for if the 2 hour can curl up. Well, if that curls up, I can probably play a move to 525, something like that. So just be looking at this 2 hour chart today. And I just appreciate all you guys coming out, liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. I'm just going to hop off a little bit early today because we're going to be going live a lot once Wednesday hits. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be doing longer streams. And so I want to make sure to have my energy levels good for those streams. But I appreciate you guys coming by. I really, really do. If you guys want to learn about this stuff, there's a course down in the description if you want those weekly ranges for each individual stock. Very good time to get those, especially in a bear market. They're very, very helpful. So make sure to go check that out. $7 a month, just a cup of coffee a month, and you can be trading better with some weekly ranges. Very useful for profit taking and trade setups. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys coming by. Thank you so much for coming out, commenting, asking me questions, liking, subscribing. You guys are always fantastic, and I love it. So I hope you guys have all the luck in the world trading the rest of the day. All right, trading the rest of the day, all the luck in the world, and I will see you on YouTube later tonight. Peace.